authentic conversations about ourselves and our community, exploring topics that uplift and inspire us. From personal growth to social change. So grab your teacup and get ready to join the conversation.
is stating, to finally be hit with reality that you've been uncovered in a bribe. And what's so important about the bribe, not just bribery on its own, but it serves as a required underlying felony to show RICO. And you know, Sean Combs knows that, and it's just pouring from the witness stand.
Well, he can beat down Cassie Ventura, but he can't beat down the prosecution. He cannot beat down the feds. And this is the telling moment for him. I wish I had like a monitor to measure his perspiration rate, his heart rate, to see what he's really going through. I bet he's flooded right now. I bet he's enraged, like Rob Shooter talked about, the veins bulging out. He is probably enraged. He doesn't feel guilty. He doesn't feel worried, Nancy. He is mad. And he's not going to be able to get away with this once he's incarcerated. He's going to have plenty of incidents when he's called on bad behavior, and there's nothing he's going to be able to do about it. You can't buy your way out of it once you're incarcerated. And this interaction about the $100,000 bribe, this is just one iteration of many incidences where he's bought people off.
Joining us an all-star panel to make sense of what we know now. It has been a long day in the courtroom. Straight out to Germania Rodriguez. She is the chief U.S. reporter with DailyMail.com podcast titled The Trial of Diddy, in which she stars. Germania, thank you for being with us. First thing this morning, we saw a videographer expert on the stand. What was the point?
Right. Today, first thing in the morning, a video expert, his name is Frank Piazza, took the stand for the prosecution. And he said he analyzed cell phone footage, surveillance footage, and also sex videos. On the stand, he's basically giving these videos legitimacy because, as we know, Diddy's attorneys, particularly with the LA Assault 2016 video, they have suggested and put the idea out there that these videos have been edited by CNN, they have been sped up. So this expert was basically there to tell the jury, these videos are legitimate, they have not been messed with, and you should trust them, essentially.
From the get-go, straight out to Greg Morse joining us, veteran criminal defense attorney. He is the lead partner at Morse Legal and author of The Untested on Amazon. Greg Morse, I believe there was a time that you suggested that the Freakoff videos were a myth, that they were lore, that they didn't exist. Well, buckle your seatbelt, because this expert on the stand that Germania just described is laying the foundation. What does that mean? Whenever you bring in a video, an audio recording, really any piece of physical evidence at all, be it drugs or a picture or an article of clothing, you have to lay the foundation. I can't just go in and go, hey, judge, can I bring in these notes? No, you have to have a witness under oath to say, what is the object? What is the exhibit? Where did it come from? What's the chain of custody? I haven't been leaving it out on 3rd Avenue in downtown Manhattan where anybody could change it. You've got to show that it hasn't been tampered with, and the chain of custody, who's held it, who's been in charge of it, is complete. There's not a break in the chain, and what it purports to be. That gives the other side a chance to object on any of those grounds. So it's happening, Morse. This is the beginning of the admission into evidence of the Freakoff tapes, which you at one time said was just a myth, that they didn't really exist, as if it didn't happen. Yes, you did.
Well, okay, they can introduce the Freakoff videos again. It doesn't mean sex trafficking and a RICO happened here. And testimony yesterday shows that from victim number 2. So they can introduce these videos. A lot of people want to keep their sex lives private. Doctors, lawyers, famous people. These things doesn't move the needle to sex trafficking yet. So they can introduce all the videos they want, but their core of their indictment is centered around the domestic abuse video where Miss Ventura is being beaten in that hotel lobby or hallway by P. Diddy. But so the freak off videos are going to
Morse,
come in. When are we going to hear about young people?
Morse,
When are we going to hear about
Morse.
drugged people?
I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. First of all, you said, I don't know if these freak offs really happened. And if they did happen, there's not a video. Now, we've heard testimony about the freak offs, and we're laying the foundation right now, the state is, to introduce those freak off videos. Didn't you just hear Hermania Rodriguez say, this expert says he is an expert in, is going to address cell phone videos, surveillance videos, that's the Intercontinental Beatdown, and sex tapes. What other sex tape? It's got to be the freak offs. They're coming into evidence. And from what I understand, straight out to Sydney Sumner joining us, Crime Stories investigative reporter on the case from the beginning, like Hermania. Sydney, these are not all consenting adults in engaging in or I guess the new term would be polyamorous. That's not what the state is alleging, Sydney.
Absolutely not, Nancy. They're alleging that these women or men or all participants who may or may not have been adults. We've seen many minor allegations come out in lawsuits, but SDNY is not specifically arguing that Combs targeted minors. Anyways, the government is claiming that these victims were coerced in one way, shape, or another, whether that was by financial control, blackmail, the threat, or follow through of physical violence. Combs used coercion to get what he wanted, to get these sex parties, these freak offs. This was not something that somebody wanted and actively was interested in doing.
I mean, Greg Morse, I don't know.
I'm a pause it right there, sippers. Every testimony that we've heard so far, that's exactly what they wanted, and that's exactly what they were doing. Did he put out the proposal for them to, accept or deny? They accepted. They had their rent paid, their vacations laid, and their sexual escapades of being nymphomaniacs were carried out. Y'all drop it down in the chat. Y'all let me know where y'all are at on this Monday night, coming into early Tuesday morning, where Diddy is on trial for his life, y'all. What do y'all think is going to happen? Will they be able to convict Diddy with these RICO charges? I am still in the middle. I'm not on either fence. Y'all drop down in the chat. Tell me where y'all are. Thank you for staying up late night with Tanisha Talks Teas. We are covering day 15 through currently of the Diddy trial. Let's just keep it on, keeping on.
Deaf, dumb, and blind? Didn't you hear the testimony that when Cassie Ventura was getting beaten in the hallway of the Intercontinental and dragged back, it was dragged back to a room where she was being coerced into having sex with a sex worker. And she was trying to run away.
I didn't hear that. I did not hear that, Miss Nancy Grace. As much as respect is due to Nancy Grace, because she's helped so many victims seriously in this shit, right? I did not hear, because at first I thought that's what was happening from watching the video. I thought that Diddy was dragging Cassie back down through the hallway, right? So that she could go back to a freak off. But apparently he was in the shower. She, saw like, okay, I don't know if it's going to be a freak off, cracking off. All I know is I'm not up for it, and she ran. I don't think it was an active in the moment of an actual freak off. I don't recall that being testified to.
Making up testimony. You're making up testimony. Is that
consensual sex?
All you're doing is making up testimony. I'm right. That's what I am. Because so far the prosecution hasn't produced any testimony that says victim number one or victim number two were coerced or forced or through fraud. This is, people made choices in this situation from their own mouth. Miss Ventura testified from her own mouth. Yeah, I didn't always like the freak offs, but I did them. You had another witness. Okay, Miss Ventura paid me to for the freak off. Again, you're things are being shoved in under a criminal indictment to things that people do. We may look at it and say, "I would never do
Okay,
that. I
let's
would never want to
review
be
the
involved in that."
evidence.
But
Let's review the
some people
evidence.
do.
Sydney Sumner joining us from Crime Stories. Sydney, isn't it true that Cassie Ventura testified that she was being dragged back to the room? And what was happening in the room, number one? And number two, isn't it true when the security guard, who we see in the video, went back to the room, he sees another guy in there? That's the sex worker.
That's correct, Nancy. So that's
I
what we
didn't
heard
hear
from
that.
Israel Flores. And
I did not hear that. I did not hear at all Cassie testify to there being anybody else in the hotel room or the security guard that we saw on the videotape when we finally got the full unedited version of the fight in the hotel with Cassie and Diddy. I did not hear anybody testify to the fact that there was somebody else in the room, because all up until we actually got into the actual trial of Diddy, I thought that that's what was going on. There was so much speculation about, what was really going on in the room, right? And it looked like Diddy was dragging her back to a freak off. Okay. Unfortunately, that has not been testified to. What has been testified to, though, that we know, T. Sippers, is what? Diddy was in the shower. Cassie ran out of the hotel room. Diddy suspected she was gone, maybe heard the hotel doors shut or something of the sort, grabbed a towel or ran out after Cassie butt naked. Okay, and I don't know. If there's been testimony of a freak off. If there has, can somebody, one of the tippers, pinpoint it somewhere? We'll go and we'll, listen to it and see for ourselves, and it better not be no AI shit. So yeah, that is under investigation, Miss Nancy Grace, because I did not hear that being said at all.
Cassie about that situation. Flores claimed that there was another man in the room, and he didn't make any note of that man being in the room because he was not directly involved in Sean Combs and Cassie's altercation. So he left that out of his incident report about the situation because he was irrelevant at the time.
Did he testify to it when he got subpoenaed by the prosecution?
Coming back to testimony combined with
what I'm saying, if it's not in the testimony, then what are y'all saying?
Cassie Ventura said on the stand, that becomes incredibly important because it backs up the fact that she said she was running away from a freak off.
So
I never heard it. I never ever heard Cassie say at the time of the hotel fight, where Diddy kicked her, hit her with a vase, all types of horrific, things that he did to her physically, violently. I can't recall her saying, and yes, it's getting late, but we are up sipping tea on Diddy, that, you see what I'm saying, they were engaging in a freak off. I just didn't hear that. Did y'all hear that, sippers? Because I didn't hear that. My tea sippers, drop it in the chat. Am I crazy? Because I didn't hear that. I did not hear that. I have not heard that.
Do you think Sydney Sumner, she doesn't have a dog in the fight, no skin in the game? You think she's lying?
So she gives inconsistent statements. There's a conflict in the evidence, clearly, because she said it was consensual many times. And when the jury is charged at the end of this case, they're going to be told. Nancy, they're going to be told what reasonable doubt is. Conflict in the evidence.
Yes, I know that, but I also know what Cassie Ventura's testimony. You know what? Pat is I can't take it anymore. While Sean Combs' family prepares their documentary to air after the verdict, and his enablers prepare his comeback tour when he is found not guilty, according to them, not according to me, a lot of people have been Diddy-fied. Joining me is a special guest. It's Armand Wiggins, entertainment legal affairs commentator, host of podcast The Armand Wiggins Show. And I want you to see what happened to him outside the courthouse.
Oh, okay, clock that. Clock that. Let's go viral in this. Let's go viral.
This is crazy.
Or what?
Okay, that from our friends at TMZ, Harvey Levin. You know, Armand Wiggins, please don't laugh because you never know when somebody comes up to you on the street and starts screaming at you, whether they are high on meth, whether they have a gun. So, you know what? Next time, please just don't engage. Don't be the hero. Just say, thank you, and walk away. But yet you engaged. Armand Wiggins, what was she screaming?
Honestly, she just was trying to go viral. She was screaming, "Let's go viral, mother." She was saying a bunch of flagrant obscenities to me. And I think it was just because she saw me going live. This case has become a zoo and a breeding ground for all walks of life, and people are just coming. They're trying to get their piece of the moment, their piece of the viral moment, and just shouting out and making stuff up. So there was a woman that got put out of the courtroom. This woman was heckling. So it was actually, I didn't even know who this woman was. She just saw me on live camera. She figured, okay, this is a content creator. He goes viral for his Diddy news, and let me go and trash him in his live feed, and hopefully I'll make the news.
A lot of people are, well, they've been Diddified. And without knowing any of the evidence or ignoring the little bit of evidence they do know, they're convinced that Sean Combs is innocent. You know, I got into it with Ray J again, but I want you to hear, you mentioned a woman that got dragged out of court by armed guards. Well, listen to her.
Diddy, everyone thinks this is a joke, laughing at Black man legacy being destroyed. Everyone has been laughing. I don't care if it sounded funny, it's not funny.
No, it's not funny for women to get beaten, drugged, dragged over and over and over. And it's not just one woman. It's not just Cassie Ventura. It's one after the next, after the next. That was from our friends at BBC on TikTok. Back to you, Armand Wiggins, who was assaulted outside of the courthouse. I just heard her talking about the legacy of Sean Combs and wrapping it into the legacy of Black men, that they should not be wrongfully attacked. What about Black women? What about them? Do they not matter in the Black legacy? What about them? What about all the women that we're hearing from? What about Capricorn Clark? What about one after the next woman of color that has gotten a beating from Sean Combs? And do you know how close it was for this woman hanging off a balcony by high on something, Sean Combs? But yet, no one seems to hear that. What about these women and the legacy of Sean Combs? Are you kidding me? It sounds arguing about on TMZ. You're saying the same thing. He's not crazy.
Well, you know,
He's a
Ray J was
celebrity.
just mentioned
Everybody
in
loves
the
him.
Ray J was mentioned in the court documents as Cassie's drug dealer too yesterday. So there might be some affiliation there, but you know, I talked to Ray J. Ray J said that had nothing to do with him, and he's not sure why Diddy's team is mentioning him. I don't know what that relationship is, but in regards to the women, I think that the prosecution is doing a great job, because one thing that we cannot get around is whenever they played that video and when they got into that forensic audio and video and you saw Cassie being yoked up and dragged, I don't care what you're talking about as far as Diddy's legacy. You have a heart, you have an emotion, and you feel every blow, every kick. And so I think that everybody in that room, man, woman, child, they felt that. And there's no way that he's getting around that. And the prosecution makes sure every day they play that video, just in case you may have forgotten what we're really here for.
Philip Dubé is joining me, veteran trial lawyer out of the LA jurisdiction. Dubé, we're seeing a whole nother animal right now. We've heard about beatings and draggings and yanking people by their hair and kicking them. And that's something that a lot of people see, whether it's in the movies, whether they've seen it in real life, but dangling someone off a 17th floor balcony, that's a whole nother thing that really can't be made up.
No, of course not. But how I would play it if I were his counsel is, like you said earlier, is it real or is it just real testimony? Because if you remember, it came out that she was hooked on ketamine and all kinds of other drugs that are various types of anesthetics that put you in a trance-like state, almost in a twilight state. So who really knows what, if anything, she accurately remembers? And it is not.
If she and Cassie were doing drugs, where do you think they got those drugs, Dubé?
Let's give him that.
From Kyle.
Let's really pretend he was plying them with dope. It is not his MO to be defenestrating people. It's just simply not the case. But I think better yet, is that just because he is in a respondeat superior mob boss, he can be acting in his individual maniacal capacity unmedicated. That does not fall under RICO. It falls under state crimes, and the statutes of limitation have run. So what the feds are doing is they're using RICO as an end run around the state statute of limitations that local DAs blew.
You know, the more the defense objects to any particular line of questioning.
And there it is, T Sippers, down in the thumbnail when you click on this video. Is Diddy in the right court? Let's listen to Mr. Dubé explain a little bit why I put that in my thumbnail.
Let's give him that.
From Kyle.
Let's really pretend he was plying them with dope. It is not his MO to be defenestrating people. It's just simply not the case. But I think better yet, is that just because he is in a respondeat superior mob boss, he can be acting in his individual maniacal capacity unmedicated. That does not fall under RICO. It falls under state crimes, and the statutes of limitation have run. So what the feds are doing is put you in a trance-like state, almost in a twilight state. So who really knows what, if anything, she accurately remembers? And it is not.
If she and Cassie were doing drugs, where do you think they got those drugs, Dubé?
Let's give him that.
From Kyle.
Let's really pretend he was plying them with dope. It is not his MO to be defenestrating people. It's just simply not the case. But I think better yet, is that just because he is in a respondeat superior mob boss, he can be acting in his individual maniacal capacity unmedicated. That does not fall under RICO. It falls under state crimes and the statutes of limitation. Better yet, is that just because he is in a respondeat superior mob boss, he can be acting in his individual maniacal capacity unmedicated. That does not fall under RICO. It falls under state crimes. Respondeat superior mob boss, he can be acting in his individual maniacal capacity unmedicated. That does not fall under RICO. It falls under state crimes.
And there you have it, okay? Like we've been saying, I replayed it for you several times just in case you didn't hear. Maybe you were swallowing your tea. I hope you didn't spit it out, okay? The feds jumped the gun. Unfortunately, they did not, go after Diddy before the state statute ran out. So somebody put a firecracker of Diddy up the feds' asses. Excuse me. I think it was Cassie with her lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? In hopes that more so of what Cassie said would come out in testimonies and things like that, with, other people saying, yes, trafficked, drugged up orgy parties, people barely clinging on to life. And I mean, all of us were really biting on that bait, right? Biting at that chomp, right? Yes. Unfortunately, the prosecution has yet to bring that forth. Okay. Maybe they will. Maybe they will continue not. As of now, they haven't.
Statutes of limitation have run. So what the feds are doing is they're using RICO as an end run around the state statute of limitations that local DAs blew.
Thank you.
You know, the more the defense, any particular line of questioning,
That local DAs blew.
you know, the
capacity unmedicated. That does not fall under RICO. It falls under state crimes, and the statutes of limitation have run. So what the feds are doing is they're using RICO as an end run around the state statute of limitations that local DAs blew.
you know, the more the defense objects to any particular
That local DAs blew.
you know,
It falls under state crimes, and the statutes of limitation have run. So what the feds are doing is they're using RICO as an end run around the state statute of limitations that local DAs blew.
you know, the more the defense objects to any particular line of questioning, the more sensitive it is, right? The more you scream at the dentist office is because that's the more it hurts, right there on that particular tooth. And they went after this witness tooth and nail. To Lauren Conlon, there was quite a cross-examination of her on the stand. What happened?
During Nicole Westmoreland's cross-examination of Brianna Bongolan, she also got her to say that a week after the alleged balcony incident, Brianna was going to private parties with Sean Combs. And she was actually texting back and forth with Cassie a few days later about having a sleepover. So Westmoreland said to her, you know, this horrible thing happened to you, and a week later, you're willing to go back and have a sleepover. And Bongolan just said, I guess so. And there was some tense moments going back and forth because of her original civil suit. She did fire her attorney, Tyrone Blackburn. He came up a number of times today because she said that he kind of misinterpreted what she said and alleged some kind of sexual assault happened, or Diddy groped her when lifting her up as he allegedly dangled her. And Westmoreland said, well, you know, you fired Blackburn, but you still perpetuated this lie, so to speak, with your other attorneys in that lawsuit and your new updated lawsuit as well, did you not? And, you know, she kind of said, well, I didn't write all of that in the new lawsuit, my attorneys did. So it was just a lot of back and forth about that, and very tense. I'm not going to say it was hostile, but it was comfortable and it was aggressive.
And now we remember an American hero, Officer Helen Smith, North Carolina Department of Public Safety, passed away.
All right, that was Nancy Grace. Okay, let's read some comments. Diddy should never see the light of day, says Sonia Torres, Fly 227. What he has to have done is truly horrific. Shitty Diddy needs a separate trial regarding all those missing children. And that's what we're saying. Like, before the trial started, right, we were led to believe some of the most horrific, you know, egregious things about Diddy that could possibly be said and done about somebody. And we have not heard anything but Cassie's testimony be relative to what we were, you know, made to believe before the trial started. Okay. God keep Allie Carter safe. That's another girl that alleges that, you know, she had dealings with Diddy and were in underground caves and tunnels and was ex-trafficked and all this shit. Okay. Yes, why in the hell isn't anyone focusing on Allie Carter and her testimony to all the horrific things she's been through? I want to go find each and every one of those children. Allegedly, Allie Carter, you know, was taken in by Diddy as a trafficked person when she was a young girl, is what she's been all around the block saying. And she witnessed a lot of other underage people in the trade traffic, you know, from Diddy and others. So, let's see. Wesley Williams -B2Y says lock his ass up for life. Justice for Kim Porter, Cassie, and everyone that was harmed by Diddy. Victims do things to survive. People don't understand that. I am one of them. You don't want to rock the boat to get murked. Says Paris talk for Yahweh. Some replies to Paris talk for Yahweh are, I don't buy that all victims become unwilling victims, remain victims, and have no choices. If you're not being held against your will and you can reach out for help, then you have a choice. Says RLF1. Mary Campbell 1576 says, clearly you possess very little knowledge with regard to this topic. Please educate yourself. Then feel free to make educated comments. Mizi G37 says, all right. So I love Chronicles. Big. Let's pay her some mind here on Timmy
But I
Talk.
will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicles Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes. Look at you.
So we are here at trial day number 19, but let's first recap day number 18. So day number 18 of Sean P. Diddy Combs' federal trial was emotionally heavy and deeply disturbing as the court heard graphic, detailed, and often heartbreaking testimony from Jane Doe, who was an anonymous woman who claimed she was manipulated, DRUGGED, and sexually exploited by Combs over the course of their relationship. Now, Jane testified that her relationship with Combs began in 2020, and although she was not officially his girlfriend, she quickly found herself in a world of control, coercion, and what she described as hotel nights, which are sex parties that Combs allegedly orchestrated regularly. Now, she revealed that between May 2021 and October 2023, she was expected to engage in these hotel nights, often with multiple male entertainers. Now, Combs would either watch, film, direct, or sometimes participate. These nights, Jane said, left her physically sore, emotionally drained, and frequently high, as she was allegedly given DRUGs like ecstasy, Molly, cocaine, and pink Tucci by Combs or his staff. Now, when she didn't want to perform, he would either guilt trip her or reference the $10,000 a month he was paying to cover her rent. Now, she described specific instances where she was forced to push through these nights, even when dealing with painful infections, throwing up, or crying. At one point, she testified that Combs told her, "That's good. Now you're ready for the third guy," after she vomited. When she attempted to opt out of a session, he allegedly became agitated, and she was forced to apologize to the entertainer afterwards under his instruction. Now, Jane also admitted to arranging performers herself at times, like Sly, Paul, Anton, Don, or Leo, sometimes booking their flights, sometimes receiving help from Combs' assistant or travel agent because she was too high to do it herself. Now, these encounters were sometimes gifts to Combs on special occasions like Valentine's Day or when he returned from a trip. Now, even while describing the trauma, Jane confessed that she loved Combs and would block out how she felt just to be close to him after these nights. Now, she recalled moments of tenderness after the abuse, cooking for him, massaging him, and feeling happy just to sleep next to him. But she also broke down in court, admitting that she was just a freaky desire to him, not someone he truly loved. Today, we're looking forward to continuing the direct examination of Jane Doe. But before we do that, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this case and so much more. Now let's get back into it.
I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop.
Not stopping, they are now demanding a mistrial, claiming the government knowingly used false testimony to sway the jury. The defense points to shocking story that Diddy allegedly dangled a woman named Brianna Bongolan over a 17-story balcony back in 2016. Both Brianna and Cassie Ventura testified about this incident, with Cassie saying she saw it happen, but Diddy's lawyers say that's a lie, and they've got the text to prove Cassie only heard about it, not witnessed it firsthand. They also say Brianna's version of the story doesn't add up physically, and that she claimed injuries like a leg bruise, supposedly from Diddy, while he was proven to be in New York, not LA at the time. According to Diddy's team, hotel records and even old concert news articles back up Diddy's alibi. On top of that, the defense says the government made things worse by showing the jury photos of Brianna's injuries and allowing hearsay, all while knowing the timeline didn't make sense, but it doesn't stop there. They also accuse prosecutors of trying to paint Diddy as someone with shady influence over the LAPD, and the feds brought up an old incident involving fingerprints tied to Kid Cudi that mysteriously disappeared, and then had a witness by the name of Mia testify about getting out of tickets just by mentioning Diddy's name. Defense says it's all part of a plan to make Diddy look like he's untouchable. Diddy's lawyers are saying enough is enough, that the jury has been fed a misleading and unfair narrative, and they want the whole trial thrown out. And one more thing before we get into the trial. Now, we've heard Christina Corum's name time and time again with just about each witness that has stepped on the stand. Well, according to USA Today on Thursday, June 5th, a statement from prosecutors that they may have caught the big kahuna, Christina KK Corum, which we all know is Combs' former chief of staff and right-hand woman. Now, inside and aside with the judge, lawyers for the government called Corum an agent and co-conspirator, marking the first time she has been referred to that way. The language implies Corum has likely reached an agreement with the prosecution and will testify. Now, we all know what a co-conspirator is, but I had to look up and find out what they meant by agent. Now, in this legal context, agent means someone who acted on behalf or carried out tasks for another person, and in this case for Diddy, as part of the alleged criminal activity. So in other words, Diddy may not be the only one getting locked up if found guilty for these crimes.
Oh, you federally fucked now.
Now, it's been noted that today, Maureen Comey, the prosecutor, said that she will take up most of the day, if not all day, to finish direct examination. So if you were looking forward to the cross-examination of Jane today, like I was, it doesn't look like it will be happening. We'll look forward to that tomorrow. Now, before the jurors come in, the judge says, I have the defense's motion to dismiss, but the government has said they will respond today. I don't have anything from them yet, so we'll address it tomorrow, along with whether Dr. Hughes can be recalled. So he's allowing the prosecution to respond to Diddy's request for a mistrial. He's also talking about the possibility of Dr. Hughes being able to come back. And like I said before, the prosecution wants Dr. Hughes back. Again, Dr. Hughes is a clinical and forensic psychologist known for expert testimony in trauma and abuse cases. They're wanting to bring her back because the defense tried to discredit the emotional and psychological impact on Diddy's alleged victims. Okay, judge says, with that being said, let me see lead counsel in the robing room. So what is being discussed? The issues around the order of pseudonyms. Okay, at 9:18, the jury is being brought in. Judge says, all rise. Jane, you are still under oath. Prosecutor Comey says, good morning, Jane. Good morning, Miss Comey. Publish the photo to the jury, but not on the screen for the public gallery. Who is this? Sean's security? And this? Sean's deputy butler? Who did you call ATL? The entertainer Sly because he lived in Atlanta? You messaged to Sean, what was this about? My trip to New York in 2023. He wrote, send me some shit of you being bad. Then Sean says, I got the phones, just send me what I don't have. Don't say no to me, please. What did you write? I wrote, you're traveling with our phones? You mean not Sean's two main phones? Yes, his assistant had access to those. I wrote, you're using this to get your DICK card for someone else? I wrote, I'm not coming to New York. You just want me there for a hotel binge. Why did you say that? I saw a podcast. What about? About Sean bragging about having sex for 48 hours straight on a yacht trip to an island near Miami.
So how many rounds you be going?
You know.
The people don't.
What's the answer?
Yeah, baby, let me tell y'all something. On which yacht? This I'll go to sleep. I'll be like, God damn. I'm gonna tell y'all so for real. I really thought that I was gonna like make him tap out. Like I really thought he was gonna be being out no chance. This don't go to sleep.
Comey says, when did the podcast air? A month after Sean said he'd take me on a yacht trip. What had Sean said he'd do to you on the yacht trip? Objection, says Gustavo. Overruled. That after a 2-day hotel night, we go on and do more on a yacht, but we never left. Had to recuperate. I saw on social media he took a girlfriend there.
We had went to Love Island for my birthday.
Yeah, I have an island. So when I took you to Love Island, and then you realized that, you know, the plane landed, and then we had to float to another island, what was going through your head when we were going there?
I was like, I'm gonna go to war by this man. Yeah, I can't be up here telling y'all my truth, but for real, I was just like, God damn, it's different over here.
What did you write in your notes app? I wrote, I don't want to come to New York and be treated like no hoe. Why did you write this in your notes app? I wasn't sure I was going to send it. But did you send a version of it? Yes. What did Sean reply? He says it was just podcast talk. I said, you took her to the Bahamas on a yacht, not me, not like you'd promised after the hotel night. Can you read your text? I quoted him on the podcast. You made Papa proud. You wrote, I don't want to feel obligated that you'll stop paying my rent. What did you mean? The guilty tripping thing that he would say that I had to perform? For how long had you felt like this? Since I got home in April 2023. Play this exhibit. Combs' voice says, this is a true open relationship. Why do you have to make it a problem? Now I'm sick. Prosecution says, how did you reply to his voice message? She says, call me back. Then we had a FaceTime. He said all the things to calm me down. What did you send Sean from the plane to New York? A photo of my outfit. Where were you planning to wear it? To dinner. What did Sean send you? He said, we're going to dinner. Did you? A late night lounge thing. Okay, I'll read this for you. You wrote, I missed your heart, DICK. And I wrote, yes, I have my passport with me. Then what did you write? I wrote, you turn me on so crazy, can't wait. After the flight took off, I got a message from Sean. What did Sean ask you? Where Sly was. Then he asked, entertainment or movie night? Let me know, I'll get a hotel. How did you react? I felt upset and a little defeated. What did you send next? Baby just got Wi-Fi again. What did Sean write? He said, check red phone. The other messages he sent me. He said, I have a surprise for you, just one. What did you take that to mean? That there'd be somebody new. Then she starts to cry. Who? An entertainer. I hated it. What did Sean send you? A picture of the man? I rolled my eyes. I wrote back, it's not loading. We are landing now. What did you send Sean? I suggested we go to Casa Cipriani, but I was driven to the Trump Hotel. I put on my outfit. What happened that night? He was late. He went to that lounge. We bickered a bit. He was defensive, but we went to the room and Sly came. What did you text to Sly? I asked if he could come to New York. I felt I needed to make it up to Sean. Did he come to the Trump Tower and did you have SEX in front of Sean? Yes. After that New York trip, where did you see Sean next? In Miami at a hotel. Did you two take these pictures? Not shown to the public gallery. Yes. We had Sly in Miami as well. Then I went back to LA. We had an argument there. Tell us why. He wanted to set up a party. He wanted me to reach out to entertainers. I noticed something online that he was with an ex-girlfriend of his. I was furious. Did you ever speak with any of these women? No. Team 2023. Please read what you wrote. I text, you got that girl next to you. Her bullshit is already starting. Meaning drama. I told Sean introduce her to P. Who? Paul, one of the entertainers. Then I wrote, I am not a PORN star. These experiences are desensitizing SEX for me. And here on October 16, 2023, the same fight. Please read these. I wrote, I don't want to be effed in these rooms. I felt there was more pressure on me than the others. There was an imbalance. I had to earn basic things for my romance, love and romance. He was giving it to others. He was clearly capable of it. I wrote, it's been 3 years of me having to F strangers. He wrote, so we're breaking up? Prosecution says, so is that what you were proposing? No, I wrote, I need a break spiritually. And then she starts to cry. What did you write next? I wrote, SEX is sacred to me.
Why would she say that?
But hey, we listen and we don't judge. Let's continue. You always push me to do more and more. I said I need time to myself. I said, Estavo says, may we have a sidebar? Judge says, you may. Now we go on sidebar. Now during this long sidebar, Combs is talking to one of his attorneys, Xavier Donaldson. Judge at 10:48 says, please be seated. Miss Comey, please bring Jane back. Jane walks up past Combs' table as he passes a note to his lawyer, Alexandra Shapiro. Comey asked Jane, what did Sean write to you? He wrote, I want to spend the day with you. I wrote back, you make it crystal clear what you want me for. You're going to spend the day love bombing me? What did you mean? Sean is very love bombing. I said, I'm just the animal people can F-U-C-K on. He said, you're crazy. Comey said, how often did he call you crazy? Often. I said, you want to have me S-U-C-K, someone's D-I-C-K, so you can jet off with Gina. I said, I'm drained. He said, I'll leave you alone. In the next text, does he use your true name? Yes. And does he say, that's my house too? He does. He wrote, I'm coming over. You're going to let me in or not? Is your baby there? Are you going to let me in your house? Again and again. Sean wrote to me, I'm so stressed. I'm H-O-R-N-Y. S-M-H. What does SMH mean? Shaking my head. He said his knees weren't good. I said I was hitting up my mom. She said taking bone supplements is key. Then you saw Sean? Yes. We had the sobriety party at the hotel. First, I went to a concert. I stood with his security. With his security, Jonathan. I went to the store for supplies for the hotel night. Sean was in the hotel waiting. He called me B-I-T-C-H. What the F is taking so long? I got there. His assistant said, you don't deserve to be called a B-I-T-C-H. Comey said, at the L'Hermitage, what happened? I didn't want to take D-R-U-G-S. Who was the first entertainer? Rico, then Paul, then Anton, then I threw up. Sean said, good, you threw up, now you're feeling better. Then I had sex with Anton. I felt terrible. Whose text is this? Mine. I wrote, baby, I love you. Do you think you could put something in the hotel? Did he respond? No. I needed furniture for the house. I wrote, you weren't too busy to make sure Chelsea was ready in D.C. Play the voice note. Sean said in the voice note, I don't know where the F Chelsea is. I ain't with no B-I-T-C-H's. Leave me the F alone. I'm single. Comey said, what frustration did you feel? Not being heard about what I felt about hotel nights. Did you use names for the other women? Yes, it was misdirected anger. I asked, what does the house have to do with what I'm saying? I wrote, I'm not Gina or Cassie. Were you telling Sean you were going to speak about your relationship? Objection, says Estavo. Sustained. Please read. Did you reference your child? Yes, I said, you got me effed up. I said, just complete what he promised about the 2 years, about the home. I said, don't contact me. Comey said, what did he say in response? He said, I'm super clear now. I said, you had me on constant pins and needles. Now I'm sick. Leave me alone. Does the next text message reference a prior relationship you had? Yes. Then he says, I was told you was crazy. He said, you took it too far, baby girl. You'll see. He was threatening me about the rent, that we don't need to do anything we don't want. I wrote, you're mad at me about a grown-ass man? Comey said, stop right there. Was this referencing to your prior relationship? Yes. I wrote, you wasted my time in this toxic-ass relationship. Did you then refer to your previous relationship? Yes. You invited me to New York to pair me up with some random man, any MFer, for your own sick sexual. Comey said, were you talking about? Jane said, the two men he had chose for me, Sly and Anton. Sean kept trying to say I chose them. I wanted it. I wrote, you want to gaslight me. What did you mean by that? He wanted me to believe I had wanted these things. What else did Sean text you? He said, you and me don't have no beef. I said, you created all this evil inside me. I wrote to him, I regret everything, all this toxic ish, which overran my life. He said, you are burning a bridge that you are going to need tomorrow. What did you write? I wrote, I don't trust you. He said, 10 hours ago, you loved me. Now this, he wrote me, it's a free country. I'm an adult and you are an adult. You are writing a whole book about what you hate about me. We both made promises that we didn't keep. If you don't want to talk to me, there's nothing I can do. Did you get the phone? Yes. What did you write here? I said, you knew I would finish strong. Pep talks to me kept me performing. I know I was consenting like you said. You didn't know I didn't want it. This is my truth. I love you very much. I need to take a pause. Why did you say I know I was consenting? I picked up the word from him. He said if anyone saw these videos, they'd say you wanted it. Was that true, Jane? I'm still trying to figure that out. What did you see in the videos? I was high. I was just following a pattern, performing. Exhibit, please read it. It's from my notes. I wrote, I am having PTSD from these nights. Why in your notes app? Get my feelings out. Did you see Sean that day? Yes, at his home. I was confronting him. I was able to talk about the pain I was feeling. He was hugging me. What are these? Photos I took of us in his master bathroom. I felt he understood me in this moment. He had a Halloween video shoot. That was nice, but his birthday was approaching and I felt nervous. He wanted to party hard, but he spent his birthday with his family. I got him a mobile television. We had these things called movie nights, which were our videos. I felt this TV could substitute for our entertainment. Then Cassie's lawsuit came out. It was everywhere on social media. I think I fainted. Why? Because, and she starts to sob, there were 3 pages that were harrowing what I was experiencing. Did you screenshot those pages? Yes. Do you recognize this? It's Cassie's lawsuit filed November 16, 2023. Had you met Cassie? In 2015 at a fashion show in celebration for Sean. That's the only time I met Cassie. I was reading these pages and it felt like a nightmare. I had a lot of sympathy for her because of this. Objection. Ask a new question, says the judge. How did you react? Like, I can't believe I'm reading my own story. Read your message the day of Cassie's lawsuit. 4 in one night and now I'm going to the doctor. Then 3 days later, I wrote, I'm feeling I'm reading my own sexual trauma. God finally woke me up about this cycle. You gaslit me. We're going to play some audio with your true name redacted. Show the full transcript to the jury. Loud and scratchy audio plays. Sean Combs says, I love you. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to stop all this madness. She says, I don't know. Combs said, did you know you were being recorded? No. Did you know you were being listened in on? No. More audio. Jane saying, who's there when I close my eyes and I have these effed up feelings in my head? Okay, play 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Combs says in the audio, I'm trying to be there for you. You know what I'm saying? Jane says, I'm just effed up right now. Combs says, are you recording me? Combs says, Jane, were you recording him? Absolutely not. More audio. Sean says, what you did is not right. You know what I'm saying? I can't talk on the phone. I don't know what the F is going on. I need you to support. You got me? That video thing. What did that mean? The mobile TV I got him. Your Honor, this might be a good place for a break. Okay, jurors, you may go. The jurors exit. How much longer, Miss Comey? I'm confident I'll finish today. It may be the end of the day, but today. Then they go on break. Now Jane is back on the stand and she's testifying that she did not see Diddy for 3 months after Cassie filed her lawsuit. So between November 2023 and February 2024, Jane said that they were on a 3-month break. Now, although they didn't physically see each other, they still had communications with one another. So now Jane is speaking about a message that she sent to Combs on December 7th, 2023 with a screenshot of something on Instagram. And she said something was very triggering for me. The Instagram post was not discussed or shown in court. Now Jane's text messages say, I'm crying and it's so close to some nights I felt forced. She also wrote, please stop using women for your fetish and leave women alone who don't want those nights for you. Hire prostitutes and stop emotionally harming women that love you. Combs responded, you're trying to set me up. This is crazy, effing crazy. Are you recording our phone calls? Jane texts back, no, stop calling me. You will never understand because you're so deep in your own lies that you tell yourself. She also wrote, I set up the men for myself because I didn't want to be set up with any more strangers. It was a protective instinct for myself. She continues to testify about the messages she exchanged with Sean P. Diddy Combs in December 2023. On December 27, 2023, she sent Combs messages in which she said he was never satisfied. Even handle this pain. I'm not even the same person anymore. Combs asked her how they could move on and if she was free in the new year. Jane said she lifted him up in those rooms and took a lot to make him happy. In later messages, Combs said, stop with the rooms, and accusing her of setting him up. Jane testified that he was referring to the hotel nights and testified she was not planning on filing a lawsuit against him. Jane said she felt manipulated and violated, and she said she wanted to vent to the only person she could because she never confided in anyone about those hotel nights. Now, when asked why she never told anyone about the hotel nights, she responded because it was just a shameful, dark secret of mine. In the the messages, Combs asked to see her, but she wasn't answering him for a time. Jane testified that she was trying not to answer Combs because he would gaslight her in a way that warped her sense of reality. Every time I would speak my truth or how I would really be feeling, Sean would just give me a different version of it and say it wasn't this or it wasn't that. At some point, they got on a FaceTime call, and Jane testified Combs told her on the phone repeatedly to charge him an amount that would help her move on. According to Jane, Combs said things on the phone like, "Charge me for your resentment, and I just need you to get over this." Jane testified he also said at the time, "I don't want any loose ends." After that call, Jane sent Combs a text message outlining terms in which Combs would pay her hundreds of thousands of dollars for what she felt would compensate her for the 3 years of the relationship. In response, Combs told her that she was an opportunist, a liar, and a con artist. She also testified that Combs threatened to show her sex tape to the father of her child. Now, after their December 2023 conversation, Jane and Sean P. Diddy Combs did not speak until February 2024. Now, she felt a sense of calm during that time with some distance from Combs. Jane described a trip she took in January 2024 with friends to Las Vegas. Now, she flew to Vegas on a rapper's plane and went with the group to a dinner, a show, and later the rapper's hotel room. When some of the group got to the hotel room late that night, one of the entertainers that she and Combs paid for hotel room encounters was there, Anton. Comey asked her, other than that time, had you ever seen Anton other than at the hotel nights? No. This friend that you were with, was it platonic? Yes. In the hotel room, Anton was having sex with a woman. The rapper and his girlfriend was there. There was flirting. How were your finances in January 2024? I decided to do an OnlyFans account. What kind of content did you create? Lingerie, swimwear, implied nudity? What's that? Your hands cover your body? I wanted to stand up on my own 2 feet. I was also getting child support and some money from Bear. I advertised his brand on my social media. He offered me money. Actually, he just sent it to me. How much? $9,000. He said, if you want to post for my brand, do. No big deal. Sean messaged me he'd had a dream about me that I was going on Concord. Why did you answer him? I missed him dearly. So what you want to do on your birthday, he said. I said, I'm traumatized by my past birthdays and what they led to. What did Sean write? Send me a picture of them pretty teeth. If you change your mind, I miss you. Stay happy. Love. What did you write? Then I'm just being mature. I don't think I'm ready to see you. Did you see him for your birthday in February 2024? Yes.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
How was it in Miami? Sean had candles. My heart was beating super fast, and I think his was beating fast too. We were oddly in the same color. I thought that was nice. What happened at dinner? Balloons, a 5-course dinner. We used ecstasy. Then Sean asked, do you want to see Don?
Do you?
What was your reaction? I was high. I said, okay. Me and Don had sex in One Star. Then we rested a couple of days. Then we flew back to LA. We were back together. In 2024, where did you visit Sean? Miami in May, July and August, and at my residence in LA a couple of times. Did you and Sean go out in Miami and LA together in 2024? No, things had really hit the fan. A lot was going wrong in his life. The press was after him about Cassie's lawsuit. With which entertainer did you have sex with in 2024? Anton, Don, Larry. We stayed in the residence. There was a lot of focus on Sean elsewhere. I showed him how lucrative OnlyFans was. Sean was putting on music and he went on my phone. He asked me, who's Bear? Why are you texting like this with him? The money thing came up. That Bear had sent me money. He started getting dressed. I started crying. I felt misunderstood. What did Sean text you? He wrote, what's going to happen if I come over tonight? I said, do you want me to be alone? I can arrange that. I wrote back, he was supposed to see his mother, in air quotes. I meant another woman. He wanted a party. What did Sean ask? He said he wanted me to sign something for him so he could have closure. I thought he meant so I wouldn't be a threat. Had you ever sent him a demand letter? No. Sean said, you were making your own money. What did you reply? I said, I am working on paying off my debt after being on call unfocused. How did you go into debt when you were dating a millionaire who gave you thousands? Gustavo says, objection. Sustained. What did you write? I said, I'm tired. You can't even make it 2 years without bringing it up to me. What did Sean say here? Bear, my colleague, I said I hate living in fear. The roof over my head was just going to come off. I asked, did you tell Robin, that's his accountant, to cut it off? He said, you make your own money. Comey said, did he continue to pay your rent? Yes, he kept paying. Did you learn his houses were searched? Yes, and HSI came to my house. Who hired you a lawyer? Sean. Is Sean still paying for your lawyer now? Yes.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Woo, child, I need a drink after this. Did you talk to Sly after the 2024 searches? Yes, he called and said he had a tape and he intended to release it bit by bit on the dark web. I asked Sly how did he get the video. He said Sean picked up his phone and recorded with it. I asked Sly Cabral how much he wanted. He said $10,000. I told Sean Cabral just tried to extort me. Sean was crying.
I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
What did he say? Get legal on it. According to Jane, shortly after Cabral's threat, a major media company that Jane did not name contacted her saying it was going to publish the video and asking her for comment. She said, I called my lawyer. Comey says, did the media company ever publish the video? No. Do you know why? No. Then the hotel video of Sean and Cassie came out. I was with Sean in Miami. How did you first learn about the video? There was a knock on the door. It was Sean's son. Sean was called out. I went down and everyone was talking. It was in 2-star. What happened? Sean was huddled with the team and his family. I was just giving everyone space. Later, we had a huddle. His sons were involved. Huddle for what? To come up with an apology? He showed me a draft of what he would say on social media. Did you read it? He addressed Cassie by name in the draft I saw. I felt it was more heartfelt. I thought it was good enough. Did you talk one-on-one with Sean about the video? Yes. He said that Cassie hit him too. He said that was the only time they had physical violence like that. Then I was told KK was coming and I had to go to another room. I did, and I went back to LA. Do you recognize this? Sean's IG apology. Yes. The video is played for the jury, but not on the public screen in the gallery. Sean says, disgusting. I have asked God for his mercy and grace. I'm truly sorry. How did you feel about it? I was disappointed. I felt there was no heart. Sidebar, says Gustavo. Sure, says the judge. Judge says, jurors, you can leave. Let's take a break. The jury leaves. Judge says, Miss Comey, can I get a proffer as to relevance? If I can't compare the drafts, I'll strike the last question about comparing the drafts. Ignifilo says, we want all the questions stricken. Then Ignifilo continues, I advise not to name Cassie as she might be a grand jury witness, so privilege. Comey says our next question are about Combs' violent assault on Jane and forcing her to have sex with an entertainer while still injured. It goes to state of mind. Comey said I could play the video again and avoid any privilege issues. Judge says, okay, bring the jury back in. All rise. Apology video is being played again. I was effed up. I hit rock bottom. I sought out professional help. I'm going to therapy. I'm going to rehab. Comey said, Jane, what did you understand he was referring to? The hotel elevator lobby video. The next time you saw him was June 18, 2024. Where did you see him? Home in LA, date night in the house. Jonathan came to help set up. What did Jonathan do? Put some candles around the home, decorate with red lights, make the environment cozy. Was the plan to have an entertainer? No, I wore a long brown dress. I opened our patio, which has a really nice view. Did you two get into an argument that night? Yes, we had champagne and some tequila. I started confronting him about who he was with on his family trip to Utah. What did you say to him? I called him a PEDO. He was 25 or more years older. I said, if a girl can't buy her own drinks, what makes you interested in her? I believe she was under 21. Okay, but older than 18? Yes, he started tying his shoe. I pushed his head into the marble. Then what? I started throwing candles and glass. I was angry. Jane said she started throwing candles around the house and repeatedly saying to him that she hated him. She said a lot of candle wax went into Combs' clothing, but she didn't see any of the glass hit him directly. He was probably cursing and calling me crazy. I wanted to lock myself in the master bathroom. Had Sean touched you? Not yet. I locked the bedroom door, but he knocked it down. Then he kicked down the bathroom door off the hinges. Jane then ran to the closet and locked the door. She was able to put on new clothes because she wanted to make sure that she had something comfortable to escape in. Combs kicked open that door as well. When Jane left that room to run to the front door, Combs caught her. She said Combs kicked me in the back of my thigh and I fell down. She then testified that he picked her up and put her in a CHOKE hole and CHOKED'd her. And I couldn't breathe. I went to the front door and ran 6 blocks away. How long did you hide there? 2 hours. Then I went back and I saw Sean. Sean kicked in the guest bedroom door. I was throwing glass and candles at Sean. I shouted that I hated him. He started punching my head and saying all kinds of things. Like what? That I was trying to keep him away from his kids? I said no, but he kicked me on the grounds. I was balled up. Then he grabbed me by my hair and arms and dragged me back into the house. What was he saying? That I was effing crazy? I kept saying, just leave me the F alone. I called the girl I thought Sean was with and asked if she was on the trip with Sean. She said very insulting things. Then Sean held me down, so I had to listen. What did you do? I told her to shut up and that he was beating my ass. Sean hung up. Then he told Jonathan to tell me he wasn't with no girl on a trip. After the FaceTime, what? I went into the shower to cool off. Who was with you? Sean. I saw a black eye forming and welts. How were you in the shower? Naked. Sean was in his pants. He slapped me. I fell to the ground of the shower. Then what? I was exhausted. I just sat there. Sean said, just put some ice on it and put an outfit on. Outfit? Lingerie and heels. Sean was using my phone to play POR and no. He texted Anton on my phone. My phone was screen mirrored to the TV. Sean texts, hey, what are you doing? Sean scrolled up and saw Anton's message about our mutual friends. Sean asked me how the mutual friends were. I said I didn't know. Why did you lie? We were on a break. I didn't think I needed to say it. Anton showed up. I moved my hair so the injuries couldn't be seen and used makeup like Sean said. I greeted Anton and tried to be polite, asked him how his day was. Sean was giving me his evil stare. Sean said, I need to talk to you. We went into the guest bedroom. What happened there? He said he wanted to know about the mutual friend. I told him I went to Vegas with this rapper and his girlfriend. I saw Anton having sex with another woman. What did Sean say? He said, do you have this POR and Star having something over me? Did you take DRUGS? Yes, right around this time, Sean told me, take this effing pill. You're not going to ruin my effing night. Go out there and SUCK his DICK. I said, I don't want to. What did he say? He said, is this coercion? What happened to the pill? I consumed it. I performed oral sex on Anton. Combs also watched us have sex. I felt sick. I felt like I was not in my own body. I felt disgusted. I felt terrible. How did it end? When Anton finished, I excused him, tried to put on a good face. Sean called me a WHORE. After he left, he sent his security with money to me for Anton, $10,000 or $12,000 in cash for Anton, and then $4,000 for the damaged doors. What did you do with part of the money? I sent $3,000 or $4,000 to Anton. Have you fixed the doors? No, there were other bills. Photos of broken doors shown to the jury, but not on the screen for the public gallery. When did you next see Sean? A few days later. Why? I missed him. According to Jane, both she and Sean Combs had been messaging each other about that night and how bad we were feeling. Jane testified that Combs repeatedly accused her of cheating while she kept apologizing and insisting that nothing had happened. They agreed to see each other and she went to his home. Jane said they tried to be upbeat, but there was more sadness underneath. Sean was basically saying that we were breaking up and we were just going to be friends, adding that he said he loved me, but what I did was wrong. At one point, Combs asked his assistant Jonathan what he had seen on the FaceTime call that night. Jane testified that the assistant said he only saw her crying in the corner when Combs accidentally turned the camera towards her. Then I shot a video of Sean and I in my backyard. Did you inadvertently film your injuries? Yes, my welts. And when you had learned that Sean went to Wyoming, I was outraged. He was with another woman. Did you block him? Yes, both of his numbers, all of his security, and his assistants. For how long? 2 or 3 weeks. Then I saw that his mother had been hospitalized. I wanted to put what happened between us to the side. I flew on a red eye to meet with Sean. And what did you do? We had a really nice time. Sean said, you can tell me when you're tired. What did you say? Let's stop for now and let's see each other later. His demeanor changed. He said a man spends all his money on you when you say you're tired. He threw water on me. He called me a BITCH. He gave me an ecstasy pill. What happened? Sean was celebratory. Let's go. Did Paul come to Miami? Yes. Did Paul come to 2-Star? Yes. I was given a spray bottle, liquid Molly into my mouth. I felt a surge of high-octane sexual energy. Paul came in. I greeted Paul with that same energy. Did you have sex with Paul in front of Sean? Yes. When was the last time you saw Sean? August 2024 at 2-Star. Did you have sex with Don in front of Sean at 2-Star? Yes. One last text message, the last one I'll ask you to look at. Did you go to New York to see him? No. Why not? He was arrested. Did you get a subpoena? Yes, I had to come November 2024 and then January 2025 and after. Did you see a therapist? Yes, 3 months now. Do you have an attorney for this case? Yes. Who is paying? Sean, and I am still processing. Nothing further. Judge says, jurors, you may go. I'm about sure that after hearing all of this, we probably all need a therapist. What I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything going on in the crazy world of Sean P. Diddy Combs? Leave a comment and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching, but before you go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any of my new episodes.
Thanks for watching. Remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing. It's a blessing. Keep your teacups filled and ready for my next upload. Until then, stay inspired and remember, always stay dipping.